Since losing to the Guns on AEW Dynamite back in late December of last year, FTR has been absent from AEW programming, having recently revealed on the FTR podcast that the popular tag team's AEW contract is up in April, but that they're currently on an approved leave of absence. The wrestling world has wondered if we're ever going to see them in All Elite Wrestling again. Dax Harwood took to the FTR pod once again to talk about the possibility of making more AEW appearances between now and the end of their contract. He said this on the most recent episode of FTR without Cash Wheeler, just Dax Harwood. Dax Harwood talked about a possible return to AEW. These transcripts come to you via Wrestling Inc. He says, I really miss wrestling, but I still have to take things easy, let my body rest, let my mind rest, recuperate, and just be ready. If we come back before April, I would absolutely love that. If Tony's on board with that and that's what he wants, I would love to. And if that's not what he wants, it's his company, I will do whatever he says because I trust him and he's the boss.
It's interesting that Dax said this the episode after Gun Club win the tag titles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, when that happened, there was two obvious paths for who the Gun Club to lose those titles. I guess it's the Guns now; they're not Gun Club anymore. Who they're going to lose those titles to is either they'll drop them back to the Acclaimed, or FTR will come back and beat them for them.
Yeah.
And not that Dax talking about a return before April, before their contracts expire, necessarily guarantees they're coming back. But between this and these comments about the Guns, it's just interesting that now of all times he would talk about this stuff. And it wouldn't necessarily surprise me if they came back, I don't know, before a Revolution or something, or before a Revolution, had a one last short run with the titles, and then maybe drop them back to the Acclaimed if they're on their way, or maybe they're going to stick around. Who knows?
If you want a better, bigger, more sellable match than an Acclaimed the Guns rematch, make it a triple threat. The Acclaimed FTR and the Guns at Revolution. Yeah. And then you can revisit a straight up one-on-one because the Acclaimed would win that match. And then on Dynamite or whatever, you revisit a one-on-one with the Acclaimed and the Guns where the Acclaimed get that win back. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Why wouldn't you do that? You know, sure. If they have until April and then they're going to, go their separate ways, you have FTR, use them. Absolutely.
And if FTR are going to leave AEW to pursue other opportunities, then it'd be nice to give them a proper send off.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Let that crowd.
Their run in AEW, has been, especially in 2022, was really fantastic, despite for stretches not being on TV, thanks to whatever Tony Khan was thinking. But in terms of solidifying their legacy as one of the great tag teams, not just now but ever, they really had an opportunity to do that in AEW because it gave them the opportunity to wrestle other places and win titles other places. And, man, their 2022, especially the first half, was one for the record books. So it'd be cool if they were given an opportunity to say their goodbyes to the AEW galaxy. Isn't that what the JAS calls?
Oh yeah, the galaxy
the fans.
Yeah, absolutely, makes sense. I agree, man. I agree with all that. It'd be nice to let, like you said, that crowd really acknowledge FTR before they go back to being the Revival.
Appreciate
that's going to be the situation. Appreciate us. Yeah, absolutely. And a Revolution here on the West Coast, that'd be awesome. That'd be great.
That would be pretty cool. Speaking about Dax talking about the Guns, he talked about them, the former rivals, new AEW tag champs. This is what he had to say. These transcripts come to us from our good friends over at Wrestle Talk.
Luke.
This is what Dax had to say, quote, "They are guys who study the craft and try to be better. They're also a couple of guys who made it to the top because of who their father is. They never had to be in the trenches, or they've never had to travel to those little shitty shows to make a buck or get seen. All they know is AEW or national television wrestling. With that, they may not think it, and they may not be doing it on purpose, but with that, they think that everything should be catered to them. I will say, there aren't too many acts in wrestling that people absolutely despise. They despise these guys. They get the ass boys chance. When they won the tag belts, the people were mad. When you think about what wrestling is, you want people to be mad or to feel a certain way. They felt a certain way about that title change. Who knows what's going to happen in the future or where the story is going. There has been a story to this. This is a year-long story that I wish people would stop and think, oh, you're right. There is a backstory and a long history. It's another chapter in this story. Congratulations to them. their first ever tag team championships. I look forward to seeing what the Ass Boys and Acclaim do next. This seems like he's setting up a match here.
The Larson narrative of FTR is coming back to, I think you're right. I think this could definitely be interpreted as that, and I'd love to see it. But I also, let me ask you something. I do not want to participate in any tribalistic behavior here.
Certainly, yes.
Is AEW losing the benefit of the doubt the way that, this is terrible. I'm going to get killed, and we're going to get killed in the comments.
Well, I mean, you for sure. Depends what I say.
I'm asking the question because
so I'd be the first
know.
to respond. Yes. Okay. Anyways, go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, it's going to be I'm making sure it's on you.
Fine. I'm cool with it. Go ahead.
Because one of the reasons why I think there was so much anger over the Ass Boys winning, because I think what Dax is saying here is true.
Yeah.
I think that this is a good story. I think it's clear if you've watched the damn show that they have grown by a lot over the past year as an act, as characters.
Mm-hmm. As performers, yeah.
Part of the rage that I saw did seem to be, oh, well, AEW doesn't know what they're doing. They're jobbing out the Acclaimed, and they're not buying into the story. Is AEW losing the benefit of the doubt because they have had some creative missteps over the past year?
Yeah, they are. Look at a good chunk of 2022.
Nice. The heat's off me. You got your heat back. You got your heat back.
I got you, buddy. I got you. No, they are, because for a good chunk of 2022, and I imagine, yes, some circumstances, luck didn't exactly go their way. You know, they had plans, obviously, for Phil when he won the title. Day after he won, or the Wednesday after he wins the title, he breaks his foot. They have to adjust a bunch of stuff. He comes back, gets hurt again, and then goes on his tirade at the All Out scrum. Had to change a bunch of stuff again. Things from a storyline perspective, in terms of there being more stories, have gotten better, but that's not to say that it's a home run across the board.
Yeah,
from a creative standpoint, and I think 2022 for a lot of people may have been pretty eye-opening when it came to AEW, because there was a lot of good stuff creatively in 2021.
Yeah, even
the first half of 2022. You know, we saw that's when the MJF Punk feud was happening. There was a lot of good stuff there. Mm-hmm. But especially the second half of the year, and I know there's probably some circumstances outside Tony Khan's control that made him change stuff, but from a creative standpoint, far too often, it wasn't really captivating television.
Yeah.
They always have good wrestling on AEW.
Oh,
count on good matches.
It's always there, yeah.
But it's whether there's the stories behind the matches that really gets you invested in the outcome is really what takes it to the next level, whether you're really going to be into it. And I just think for a lot of 2022, especially basically the entire second half, there was too many instances where there wasn't quality creative behind the quality wrestling. And then we see it all the time where people are on TV for a stretch and then they're gone, you know, and then it's seemingly months before they come back. And I think especially in the case of the Acclaimed, where it's not just a catchphrase. I think most people really do like the Acclaimed. They're the most popular act in AEW,
they are,
without a doubt.
Yeah, without a doubt, yeah.
And there's been instances where people have dropped titles and then disappeared from TV.
Yeah.
And people don't want that to happen with the Acclaimed, and I understand why they would feel that way.
There's a
in that sense, yes, AEW is totally, I won't say completely lost the benefit of the doubt, but they've lost some of the benefit of the doubt for sure.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. So you guys can get your pitchforks out and come after.
Yeah, come after me. It's fine. I don't read the comments anyway. So it's fine.